Everyone, today is February 12th, 2026, and today's another live trading session. We're starting today quite late into the session. We are 1 minute from 9 o'clock right now, and the reason for that is because if we look at a higher time frame, when I had gotten up, all we seen was consolidation across the board. So NASDAQ was consolidating, US 30 has been consolidating, and we saw gold was consolidating to the side as well. We're now into 9 o'clock, so we can now see if the next hour wants to move price in a specific direction. But in terms of sentiment and news, we have no more news for today. We have unemployment claims that came out this morning at 7:30. They came out at 227,000, and we were forecasted at 222,000. So that means that that's bad for the dollar. We have more jobs that are unclaimed this month than we did last month. And then from a perspective of sentiment, we have the NASDAQ, which NASDAQ came out as 50-50 sentiment. And then we also have US 30, which US 30 has come out as a bullish sentiment for today. So just looking at the charts, like I said, we have been consolidating for the most part. It's an hourly fair value gap that we had tapped into with Wednesday's pricing. We are now driving away from that fair value gap to the downside. And so from a lower time frame perspective, again, like I said, opening price wasn't too clean, and then we've now started to trade off, looking at probably attacking this previous day low here, which would come out to Wednesday's low. Currently, we don't have anything to align with when it comes to that. From a 15-minute perspective, again, 15-minute candles are running, and it's not really leaving much behind. So right now we're kind of just sitting on our hands when it comes to NASDAQ. We then have U30. U30, again, we are in, let me mark this out. So U30 from a higher time frame perspective, we know that US 30 is at these all-time highs here. We know with US 30 being at these all-time highs, also knowing that Wednesday created this pullback after Monday created this low of the week. So we know that price has the indication to potentially go bullish here, especially since that sentiment did come out as bullish. And if that is the case, then we'll look at, again, it would be this previous day high that we would be looking to attack for our first objective for buy side. Currently, we're kind of just sitting on our hands with this as well because, again, as we can see with opening price, that's not the cleanest opening price. We do like the fact that we had a 5-minute fair value gap that was created at 825, but this is pre-market, and so this pullback isn't as significant as if that fair value gap was created after 830. And then finally we have gold. Again, gold consolidating to the side. Gold sentiment for today did come out as bearish, and we know from a higher time frame perspective, again, if we just look at this from a 15, we had a 15-minute fair value gap that was placed in the market on Wednesday, and we've been respecting this fair value gap multiple times, not trying to break out to the bullish side. So we will see what this ultimately ends up doing. But again, with these candles pulling back the way that they are, we can just see from this first price leg after 830, there's no fair value gaps in here for us to take. And then from a higher time frame perspective, again, there's nothing to react off of here in order to push us bullish. So right now we're kind of just stuck in between liquidity, and we have to just wait for price to show its hand. But that is basically everything that we're looking at for right now. Again, today for right now, we're sitting on our hands, and I will update you guys with anything else that comes up in price. Okay, so it's 9:18. So here's just a little update. Price still isn't doing very much. We're kind of in the same area for most of the things. Again, since 9 o'clock, we know that NASDAQ has been consolidating. We're not creating any fair value gaps to the upside or the downside. We know that US 30 has tried to rally, but again, just pulled right back into this consolidation. And then from a higher time frame, again, these are wicks and candles that you just want to stay away from. This isn't clean price action, and so therefore you don't want to put yourself in a position to where you're trading within a range, because there's no identifiable targets, and there's no volatility to take you to the unidentified targets. And then finally we have gold, and again, gold's not doing anything either. Just looking at this hourly, once again, price that you want to stay away from, just consolidating, no fair value gaps to the upside, no fair value gaps to the downside, no significant form of liquidity that needs to be taken. And so therefore, again, just sitting on our hands still, with about 40 minutes left in the session. Like I said at the start, we probably will not end up taking a trade today. It's just very improbable that we'll get a trade that aligns with anything today. But again, we'll continue to sit through this session and see what happens. It is now 9:31, so I'll give another update. This might be the final update of the session, or it'll be the second to last update of the session. We're, again, not going to get anything today. Just consolidating, not printing any bullish or bearish fair value gaps in the market for us to take. And that's on NASDAQ, here's on US 30, and here's on gold. So we see all of the pairs basically doing the same thing. Again, I know a lot of people see this gold is now reverting. Gold is now leaving bullish fair value gaps in the market. But again, this is where you have to align with your higher time frame. If you go to 15 minute, 15 minute is just consolidating. And if you go to your hour, you see the hour is just consolidating right back to where it's been since Wednesday. So this lower time frame price action now gets voided because the higher time frame is showing you inconsistencies. Alright, so this is chop work. Give me 2 seconds. Make sure this closes out at the low. Alright, perfect. Okay, So let's walk through today's trade real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me log this. Man, it's been a good week, man. It's been a good ass week. But let's walk through today's trade. So like I said, in all of the times that I came through in today's voice messages, I was basically explaining how we've been consolidating and how we probably won't be able to get an entry today, okay? So what I ended up seeing was the fact that if we look at NASDAQ from 830, it started off falling to the downside. Again, we were in this large consolidation profile as a whole, but ultimately it started off at 830, falling to the downside, okay? So once we got those down close candles in price, again, that's when I went on my 5 minute and I was just waiting to see if we were going to be able to align with anything. We saw the first 30 minutes of the session rally to the downside. We seen 9 o'clock then get planted into the market. 9 o'clock started to consolidate. Again, we would have wanted to see these fair value gaps up here pull back into for price to then deliver us lower. But that didn't end up happening. We ended up just accumulating around this area here, which again, this is another concept called a breaker block, but we don't need to get into that. Ultimately, it just reacted off of this place in price and then continued going lower. Once it reacted off of that and we went lower, I seen that again around this 945 candle, that's when we got this up close candle here. So once that up close candle was printed in the market, again, I knew and I seen that between the 935 candle and the 945 candle, we created a fair value gap with this 940 candle. So I had originally aligned with that, but again, since this is a 5 minute time frame, I could have got a very, very precise entry if I would have gotten just completely aligned with the 5. But I went down to the 1 because I knew that price action would probably be cleaner on the 1 minute time frame. And so ultimately, that's exactly what we've seen. This 1 minute here that got created at 940, that was the fair value gap that price drove back into and stabbed into. Again, this was my ideal entry. I would like to be in there with the stop loss above the candle high, and then my take profit being low of the day here. That would have been super, super clean. That would have been about 3.5%. However, I didn't get the clean entry up here. And so I just had to align once the candle broke to the downside. So once we got this bullish candle and I started seeing the 952 candle start rejecting, that's where I got in at this 952 candle and then just placed my stops above the high and still the same objectives that we're looking for every single day. Remember, our objectives are current low of the day and current high of the day. And then our next objectives are previous day low and previous day high. So we know that, again, in the markets, where we were in the markets, and hold on give me 1 second. Where we were in the markets, we knew that this was our previous day low and this was our previous day high. We knew with this price action that we were already in, we had already swept our low of the day and we were currently creating the current low of the day. And so the next objective, again, would just be the previous day's low, which happens to be Wednesday's low. And so that is exactly what we took price down to here. And again, ideally we would have wanted to catch the high end, but we still managed to capitalize off of 1% on today's trade. And so, yeah, as a whole, we are, give me a second, I'm pulling up the log now. As a whole, we are up 6% on the week. I will probably be done for the week. I might record tomorrow's session just for studying purposes and just so you guys can see, again, what's going on throughout the full week. But being that I'm up 6% of the week and I've had 3 winning days, I will probably sit the sidelines tomorrow. And then I'll be back next week looking to trade New York session. But that basically concludes today's trading session and today's breakdown. And again, if you guys have any questions, just let me know.